Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Jake from TodaysiPhone.com, and the WWDC 2012 keynote has just wrapped up. So here are the highlights from the event, as well as my thoughts on what Apple announced. Okay, so the first thing on the agenda was a refresh of the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air lines. Let's start with the MacBook Air. So we still have the 11-inch and the 13-inch model. Physically, the latest gen of MacBook Airs are completely identical to the one previous, which unfortunately means there's no Retina Display. But there are a bunch of other awesome new features to get excited about. Internally, the new MacBook Airs will be rocking Intel's Ivy Bridge processor, and you can bump that up as high as the i7, which clocks in at 2.0 GHz with a turbo boost of 3.2 GHz. Apple's also bumped up the RAM to a maximum of 8 GB, as well as the storage capacity, which now maxes out at 512 GB of flash storage. Other new features include USB 3.0, which is 10 times faster than USB 2, and the new FaceTime cameras, which record 720p HD video. Depending on the configuration you buy, this latest generation of MacBook Airs will cost you anywhere from $999 to $1499. And best of all, they start shipping today. Okay, moving on to the MacBook Pro. Again, all of the changes are done inside. The physical design of the computer looks identical to the previous generation. The newest generation of MacBook Pros also get the Ivy Bridge treatment with a maximum of 2.7 GHz. A turbo boost clocked in at 3.7 GHz. Again, we see a maximum of 8 GB of RAM at 1600 MHz. Also, the super fast USB 3 connection ports, as well as super fast graphics with the NVIDIA GeForce GT 650M graphics chip with Kepler architecture and 1 GB of dedicated RAM, which marks a 60% improvement over the current MacBook Pro model. Now again, the prices for the regular MacBook Pro did not change, and it starts at $1199. And these updates are definitely great, but they are certainly not the star of the MacBook show here, because Apple also announced the next generation of MacBook Pro. Now for this device, Apple sort of combined the best aspects of the MacBook Air and the best aspects of the MacBook Pro, plus a couple things that are entirely new to the MacBook line to create a truly amazing computer. Okay, so right off the bat, the 15.4-inch display is a Retina display. It has 220 pixels per inch with a resolution of 2880 by 1800, which is just insane. It's got well over 5 million pixels, which makes it the highest resolution notebook screen in the world by a large margin. And as if that wasn't enough, it's super thin at just 0.71 inches compared to the 0.95 of the current MacBook Pro line. It weighs just about 4.5 pounds, and even with that thinner, lighter design, Apple managed to make this the most powerful MacBook Pro yet. It's got a huge battery that offers 7 hours of usage or 30 days of standby time. It's got quad-core Intel Core i5 or Core i7 processors, flash storage up to 768 GB, 1600 MHz RAM up to 16 GB, the same NVIDIA GeForce GT 650M graphics that the regular MacBook Pros now have. It's got an SD card slot, an HDMI port, 2 USB 3/2 ports, a MagSafe 2 connector, and 2 Thunderbolt connectors. It's also got 2 microphones, an HD camera, and a huge price tag. It starts out at $2199 and caps out just over $4,000, so this is definitely not for everybody. Okay, moving on, we got another demo of Mountain Lion, Apple's next iteration of the OS X software. Now, there are over 200 new features in this software release, but as usual, Apple highlighted the top 8, so let's go through those now. First, there's iCloud, and Apple made a bunch of improvements to iCloud. Most notably, they are now including messages, reminders, and notes applications into iCloud, and they've also improved the documents in the cloud, syncs over all your devices, including your Mac, so that's super awesome. Apple's brought the same dictation that launched on the new iPad to Mountain Lion. It's system-wide. It works in Twitter, Safari, Microsoft Word. Basically, anywhere that you can enter in a text, you can speak it to your computer. Next, there's a slew of major updates to Safari. It's supposed to be the fastest browser on the market, better than Chrome, Internet Explorer 9, Firefox. It's got major iCloud integration, so you can start a Safari browsing experience on your iPad and pick up exactly where you left off on your MacBook Air, your iPhone, so that's really cool. There's also something called Tab View, which is super cool for viewing all your open tabs in real time. And fans of Chrome will be happy to know that Apple has combined the Google search bar and the URL bar into one, so you can just start typing either a website or a search, and Safari will know where to take you. Next is Power Nap, and this feature allows your computer to stay up to date while sleeping. So while your computer is in sleep mode, without turning on the display, without turning on the fans, without getting too hot or using too much battery, your computer will automatically download the latest software updates, back up to Time Machine, and even sync your iCloud content. Moving on, Mountain Lion also supports AirPlay mirroring, which means you can project whatever's on your screen to an AirPlay-enabled device like an Apple TV or AirPlay-enabled speakers, so that is awesome. There's also a notification center which works just like it does on iOS devices, and Game Center, which again is very similar to the iOS device version, but because every single Apple product now has Game Center, you can play games cross-platform, which means you can play a game against somebody on a Mac from your iPhone or vice versa. Now Mountain Lion will launch in July on the Mac App Store, and when it does, it will be just $19.99 to upgrade from Snow Leopard or Lion. Okay, and last but definitely not least is iOS 6. Again, there are over 200 new features in this software release, but Apple highlighted the 10 major ones. Starting, of course, with Maps. Now, the iOS Maps application has been making headlines for months now because Apple has been rumored to be developing their own 3D mapping service and getting away from the Google Maps, and that is precisely what they've done. For once, rumors got it right. Apple unveiled its new mapping service and it looks incredible. Everything's been totally redesigned, all the typography and everything's been done by Apple. The map elements are vector-based, which means graphics and text and all that stuff is super detailed. Now there's also real-time traffic information that tells you where accidents are, what's under construction, where the congestion is, and how that will affect your estimated time of arrival. And related to that, Apple now offers free turn-by-turn navigation. It looks great, the directions are spoken to you by Siri. It smart calculates your ETA and can tell if you're slowed down in traffic and try to reroute you around that traffic. And of course, because this is Apple, the graphics are amazing, but that really doesn't compare at all to the flyover graphics. Now this is the 3D photographic mapping system that everyone's been talking so much about, and it really does look incredible. It looks like you're flying over this place in a plane, which is where the feature gets its name, and you can change the camera angle, you can pan, you can zoom, you can rotate, and everything is super smooth and super... it's really awesome. Okay, next, our favorite digital assistant, Siri, got a couple updates, first of which is sports. Siri can now tell you the latest sports games, the schedules, the stats for teams and players. This works for professional and college sports and looks great. Similarly, Siri now knows a lot about movies. You can ask her movie times at a specific theater. You can ask her movies starring a certain person. Right within Siri, you can watch trailers and read Rotten Tomatoes reviews. There's also much better local restaurant integration. You can sort by reviews and prices. Yelp and OpenTable are built right into Siri now, so you can see reviews for any restaurant you want, as well as book reservations. And while Siri wasn't opened up for all third-party applications, which is kind of a bummer, you can now update your Facebook status, post on someone's wall, or send a tweet right from Siri. Also a huge plus, Siri now has the ability to open applications. And finally, Apple developed something called Eyes Free. Now this is in association with car companies, and there are like 9 or 10 companies that have already signed on to support Siri Eyes Free within the next 12 months. And this is basically Siri access in cars via the one-touch buttons on the steering wheel, and the screen won't even light up, so this means you have complete control of Siri. You can read, send messages, make, receive calls, all that kind of stuff, without ever having to take your eyes off the road, which is huge. Apple also added support for a ton of new languages, including Spanish, Italian, Swedish, Canadian. All in all, a big thumbs up for Siri. Oh, and I almost forgot, full-fledged Siri is coming to the new iPad. Also, not surprisingly, Facebook is integrated into iOS 6 just like Twitter was into iOS 5. Just like Twitter, you can post to Facebook via the Photos app or the Maps application or Safari. But with Facebook integration, you can also post your Game Center scores. All of your Facebook events, including birthdays, are integrated right into your iPhone's calendar. And your friend's profile information, like phone number, email address, is automatically synced to your Contacts application. I already mentioned the Siri abilities, but now Facebook and Twitter are also integrated right into the Notification Center, with little tweet and post to Facebook buttons right under the weather widget. Also in the redesigned app and iTunes stores, you can like things and see what your friends are liking to get the opinions of the people you trust most. PhotoStream also got an update, so now there's shared photo streams, which basically means you can send like whole albums in PhotoStream to friends or a group of friends or whoever. You can comment and like them. It's sort of like a photo-based social networking aspect of PhotoStream. Apple's also offering a new application called Passbook. Now this lets you store all of your gift cards and your boarding passes and your concert tickets and your movie tickets all in one place. There are time and location-based things. You can see when coupons expire. When you get close to a movie theater or Starbucks, your ticket or gift card will pop up right on your lock screen and offer you to use it. If the terminal changes on your boarding pass, your ticket will be updated to reflect that, and this is definitely pretty cool. FaceTime is finally available over cellular data, just in time for there to be no more unlimited plans, so I mean, better late than never, I guess. The phone application got a bunch of pretty cool updates. Now, instead of just declining a call if you're busy, you can choose to have your phone send a pre-typed message to the person, or you can send a custom one too. Or you can even decline the call and set your phone to remind you like in an hour or when you leave your meeting or something. So that's super useful. And there's also a do not disturb feature that you can turn on like when you're sleeping or something. So you still get notifications, but they don't light up your phone and make noise and wake you up. They'll just be waiting for you in the morning when you're ready to answer them, which is awesome. The mail application also got an update. You can now mark people as VIPs and they go in their own special VIP mailbox. Now you finally have the ability to add a photo or video into a message in the Mails application that you've already started composing. You don't have to like go out and start a new message from the Photos application to email a picture, which is certainly a plus. Safari on iOS devices got a lot of the updates that we saw on the Mountain Lion version with the iCloud tabs and all that stuff. And there's also now an offline reading list and full screen landscape mode, which is nice. There's a bunch of super cool new accessibility features with guided assistance. Now this lets you, turn off the home button usage or lock a device to a single application, which could be useful like with teaching kids in schools or with autistic children using the device and not wanting to get out of the application they're in or something. There's also a bunch of new features optimized for users in China. They remodeled the App Store, iTunes Store, and iBook Store. And that really is only the tip of the iceberg. The beta version of iOS 6 is available to developers today. So if you have a developer account, definitely go download that and let us know in the comments what you think. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till the fall to download iOS 6, which is sort of a bummer. But it's also kind of awesome because it almost confirms that we will see a new iPhone in the fall. Apple will not launch a new iPhone without the new software, and usually they don't launch major releases of software without a new phone. iOS 6 will be compatible with the iPhone 3GS, iPhone 4, iPhone 4S, the 4th generation iPod Touch, and the 2nd and 3rd generation iPads. Okay, so that is all the major stuff from the WWDC 2012 keynote. I think it was a pretty awesome keynote. I'm really excited about the new MacBook Pro. Even though I'd probably have to sell an organ or two to buy it. I'm really excited about OS X Mountain Lion. Dictation looks awesome. Messages looks really cool. The iCloud stuff is going to be sweet. And of course the thing I'm most pumped for is iOS 6. All of the improvements I am super pumped about. The Siri improvements are awesome. The fact that Siri's on the new iPad is something that I've been hoping for a very long time, so that's great. I like the phone improvements. The turn-by-turn directions are going to be super useful. I don't really care much about Passbook or the FaceTime over 3G. I mean, it's fine for some people. I just personally don't see myself using either of those things that much. Okay, so I think that about does it. If you've sat through this entire video, well, good for you. And if you need some more WWDC stuff, the full 2-hour Apple keynote is now available for streaming on apple.com. And we've got a ton of coverage and opinions and stuff on everything Apple has covered over at TodaysiPhone.com, so please go check that out. Links to all the relevant stories are in the description down below. I can't leave without asking you guys the question of the day, so what surprised you here? Personally, I was not expecting that next generation MacBook Pro. I think it looks amazing and it totally caught me off guard. I was not expecting the Siri Sport stuff. That's really cool. I was definitely not expecting the free turn-by-turn navigation. What are you most excited about and what really surprised you about this event? Or, maybe even what surprised you that wasn't there? Did you really think there would be a new iPhone? Did you really think that Siri would be coming to the iPhone 4 or the iPad 2 or something? So I want to hear your opinions on this event. And as always, for more news, views, reviews, and everything WWDC 2012, please check out todaysiphone.com, and I will see you very soon.